This is the RAD Position with ASRT CEO and Executive Director Melissa Pergola. A podcast for medical imaging and radiation therapy professionals. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the RAD Position podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Pergola, and I am here with Ray.
Hello, everyone. Ray Arambula, Chief Information Officer here at ASRT. Excited to be back on another podcast episode.
Yeah, excited and so many new things.
So many new things.
So you might notice if you're seeing us that you're seeing us.
Yeah.
So this is a video podcast, Ray. What do you think?
It's not just our voices anymore. You get the full experience of us. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. We'll see. But we do have this amazing room. So now you'll get to see all of your eye rolls and dirty
Every
looks
eye
that
roll.
Melissa gives me. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it is cool. Just the vision and the amazing talent at ASRT. It is unbelievable.
It is.
So speaking of this amazing room and things being different, we're doing something else different today, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
We don't have a guest.
No guest.
We are actually doing member questions.
Yeah.
So we're going to hear from you, our members,
Yeah.
and questions that you have.
It's so exciting.
Very exciting.
And we should also thank Lee Ross
Yes.
for getting questions from us, our ASRT scanner, news magazine editor, and also Kim Gawler, our very own Kim Gawler, the
Yes.
RAD Position podcast producer, who asked questions at RTC
That's right.
at our conference. So some are audio, some are video.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Very
So,
excited.
yeah, I want to thank everyone who submitted questions, but also remind you that you can always submit us questions or comments at the RAD Position at ASRT.org.
Or you can go to asrt.org/RAD Position website.
Yes. All right. We have a submission form.
That's right.
All right. Excellent. So should we get started?
Let's get started.
Okay. You didn't know the questions ahead of time, right?
No, I didn't. It's
Okay.
going to be, hopefully I'm prepared.
I'm just checking.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go.
Our first question comes from Carmen George.
Oh,
Are you ready?
excellent. I'm ready.
Okay. Let's get started.
Hello, my name is Carmen George. How many volunteer positions does the ASRT currently have? How many people typically volunteer each year for the ASRT? And what is the selection process like?
Good question,
It's a
Carmen.
loaded question.
So easy questions and important question. Right. So we have about, well, how many positions do you think we have, Ray?
Ooh. 200?
Oh, no, it's higher.
500?
Higher.
600?
You're right.
Okay.
So we have about 600. And I think last year we had somewhere just shy of maybe 750
Wow.
people submit their names. So a lot of people, which is great, right? We want volunteering. And just so everyone knows, I think Carmen she also asked about the process, right?
Yes.
So we do have a form, that our members can go to, and that usually opens up in May each year. And what's cool about the form is that you can choose all of the different opportunities that you might be interested in, and it's got an explanation there of them. And what happens is when someone submits their application, and that closes in June, so you only have July. So you have May 1st to July 1st to get your information into that volunteer form.
Okay.
Then that stays on file for the year, and there's
Okay.
lots of different opportunities that come up.
So as they come up, we know who might fit where.
Yes. Yeah. And there's all different ways that volunteers are picked, right? So we know from the board meetings, the board of directors, they pick some, but then staff pick some as well. I also think about, I know the speaker and vice speaker board as well, but then there are certain committees that they appoint to. We have staff liaisons that appoint people to committees. But I think if I had to give people a suggestion for the best way to fill out that form is, that there's a area where they can write a narrative. And oftentimes when we're deciding, or not us or the board, whomever is deciding what would be the perfect volunteer for that position, that's sometimes all they have. They have the background, but they also have that narrative. So the one thing I would say is if you want to volunteer, make sure that you really take time, right? Because think about that, like when I don't know, our kids applied for scholarships and things, right? You had to write an essay.
Right.
And I mean, that's significantly important what you say. That's where you show up.
That's really good information, Melissa. And I would encourage anybody who does have questions, whether it's about the positions or the form,
Mm.
you can email volunteerservices@asrt.org.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Carmen.
Thank you.
All right. What's our next
Okay.
one?
Our next question comes from Deborah Schultz.
Okay.
Hi, Melissa. I'm a Sergeant First Class in the United States Army. I've been in the Army for almost 20 years, and I currently serve as the Senior Training Developer for the Radiology Specialist Program. Being in the military has had many challenges, from duty assignments, deployments, and other obligations, which have prevented some soldiers from earning their certification right after they graduate from the Advanced Individual Training. On October 7th, almost 19 years after graduating from the Medical Education Training Campus, I became a certified and registered technologist. This was a huge accomplishment that has propelled other soldiers to attempt their certification as well. The Army Radiology program is not currently a degree-producing program, which has challenges for soldiers without college courses to earn their eligibility to take their certification exam. Are there any resources the ASRT can provide our incoming soldiers to assist with earning their certification?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So there's two parts to that question. So first off, thank you, Deborah, for your question and for your service.
Yes.
I got to meet Deborah
Yes.
at last year's annual Governance and House of Delegates conference. It was really cool to see her participate in the flag
she's
ceremony and during the installation of officers. But Deborah, yes, in terms of ASRT resources, there are many ways we can help with professional development. ASRT student membership offers 5 radiography seal exams. And so those are practice tests that can help you prepare for the exam. There's ASRT roadmaps and other study guides also available. And then we have an archive of ASRT live recordings that have really good content in there around physics, clinical refreshers, compliance suite, radiation safety, a lot of good things with those recordings. And then recently, ASRT modified the qualifications around the Student to Leadership Development Program.
Yes.
So that now includes a pathway for military representation. And the program is available for members of all ages. So you can learn about the profession, ASRT, and then have career opportunities there as well.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I would say the foundation, the ASRT Foundation provides grants and scholarships that can also help with professional development and career opportunities.
Yeah.
And then the second part of her question, joining ASRT is just a great resource. And you can do so as an associate
that's right.
member, which for those military service members who are performing medical imaging without having their certification, that's one way you can do that. I'd also say it's a great benefit to just attending ASRT conferences, where you get to not only network with your peers, but you really get to expand your professional reach and build a stronger professional presence there. And then once you're certified and eligible, military chapter members can then volunteer as part of ASRT governance, which would ensure that your voices are represented and heard, and you can help in our ASRT advocacy efforts. And then for those who are looking for civilian roles after their military service, the ASRT Job Bank has a lot of great job opportunities, and those are nationwide. And then there's also the salary estimator as well that can give you more information around compensation specific to your discipline or region.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helped answer some of your questions, Deborah. But ASRT is very grateful for the service of our military members and our veterans. And it's just an honor to be able to be a professional community where you feel belong.
Seeing Deborah be involved and being out there and being at conferences, and congratulations, Deborah, on your certification. That is phenomenal. Awesome. I think working with our military heroes like Deborah to figure out what are other ways that we can assist. There are so many resources, but we always want to work to be able to make things better and to do more.
We do. Yeah, so thank you for that question.
Yeah. We'll be right back after this short message. Advance your career with ASRT's Structured Education Bundles. Convenient, online, and ARRT approved. Get the 16 continuing education credits you need to earn a new credential. Prepare to excel at asrt.org/structured education.
Okay, this one comes from our student, Megan Kelly.
Megan Kelly, okay.
My question is, how do you overcome the anxiety in the OR as a technologist, and what can you do to feel more comfortable in that environment?
Oh, what a
Wow, what a
great
great
question.
Wow.
So, interestingly, I didn't say before, and I don't know if you know this, Ray, but I, as a student, I kind of got pushed to the OR and ran the OR most of my student career, to the point where when I was a senior student and another student came with me, the surgeon screamed for the student to get out of the OR.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, been here all along.
Wow.
But so I do understand. I remember the fear the first time I went to the OR. I remember feeling like I wanted to back up against the wall and kind of like slide down the wall, because it is such an intimidating environment. But I think what I learned and what I would want to tell all students is that you have the skills to be that expert in the room. And it's really going to take time for you to gain the confidence as you continue to be successful. One of the other thing that I would say is it's a high stress environment. And so sometimes things might not go perfect because we're all human beings. And sometimes people might get upset, and that we can't let that deter our desire to continue to work in that environment, that we just have to learn from all mistakes. And as you do more and gain more confidence, that a lot of that fear will go away. And I think part of it too is if you love that environment, that helps. But it really is about understanding that you are that expert and practice. And, I'm sure you might even have something in your life that you're not perfect at that was difficult to start with, right? We all have to go
We
through
all
that.
are,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if you know this about me, but in my technology career, I started off in a hospital, and I remember having to go to the ER multiple times and talk about high stress environment. And
Yes.
so initially I was very nervous, very anxious. But then you understand you have a role to play. You have to get in, you have to get
Yes.
out, you have to provide the service that's needed. And at the end of the day, you hope that you're participating in the efforts around saving someone's lives. And even though I didn't feel it at the time, I really did start to understand I have a connection there.
Yes.
And let me play my role, do my part in this. Even though it may be behind the scenes, I took that seriously. And so I hope that conveys to you as well, Megan, and thank you for your question on that.
Yeah. But one other thing with that, though, you said the word connections, which made me
Mhm.
think of another suggestion that I have. And my son is actually an orthopedic surgeon. So he's one of those surgeons in the room that I used to work with. And he talks about the relationships and the respect. And I think one of the things I would recommend for students and for new technologists is to go in and introduce yourself and build that relationship and be the person who listens to and provides that surgeon and the team with what they need, that you'll end up gaining a mutual respect just by you standing up proud for who you are as a radiologic technologist. And so that's another suggestion I would have. Go in the room with the confidence, introduce yourself, listen, and be that person who does exactly what they ask for. Yeah.
It's empowering.
It is. Yeah.
Just you hearing you talk about that. And, all right, we have a few more member questions, and these come from at RTC.
Oh, RTC, our Radiation Therapy Conference, which is amazing.
Yes.
And we know part of your role, Ray, is actually running meetings and conferences.
Yes.
So I'm not going to quiz you. Oh, I will quiz you
Okay.
because, I like to quiz you and roll my eyes.
Let's go for it.
So RTC next year is in?
San Francisco.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
And that was easy. The dates?
September 28th through 30th.
Excellent. Yep. And if anyone wants to learn more, our short link it's asrt.org/conferences.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So check that out. Our conferences are absolutely amazing in San Francisco. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
So these were questions from RTC.
Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
All right.
Here comes the first one.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a student from OU. My question to you is, what advice do you have for students entering the workforce?
Okay, so if it's okay, Ray, I'll start, and
Okay.
I will back way up. As having been an educator, one of the things I used to tell my students is that every day is a job, is a sort of like a job interview.
Yeah.
And so my first advice to students would be not to wait until it's time to enter the workforce to get your resume together and make
Yeah.
everything shiny, but you have an opportunity in your clinical sites every day to show up and show who you are. And so that, first of all, you have the ability to get that job that you would like in that site that you would want to work in. So that's my first suggestion. How about you?
That's really good. Being proactive.
Yeah.
I like it. Another good way to do that
Yes.
is by attending ASRT conferences.
Oh, that's true. Networking.
Networking.
Yes.
Networking is such a good way to develop your soft skills. And,
Yeah.
it just introduces you to this great community that we have. And that's my shameless plug for ASRT conferences.
Yeah. You didn't get in the ASRT job bank in there too. You probably should have gotten that
Oh,
in there
yeah,
too if they're
that's
looking
right.
for jobs.
That's right. ASRT job bank.
Okay, let's see. We could do like a whole show on this. So the next suggestion that I have with students entering the workforce is to not just look for the place that will pay 10 cents more.
Hmm.
So you have an opportunity to interview for an environment and a culture that you might want to work in. So I definitely wouldn't be looking again for the dollar more, 10 cents more. When I would suggest going in and interviewing, and I did this as a new grad, ask them what opportunities they're going to have for you. Because being purpose driven and making sure that every day when we show up that we feel like we're making a difference will make us happier in our job. And we know there's a lot of stress and burnout. So again, I know it's hard when you're young and you're starting out
Yeah.
and every penny matters, but probably my most important suggestion is find a culture that you're going to be happy in and look for opportunities. Are they going to give you tuition reimbursement to go back to school? Are they going to allow you to do committee work? Could you maybe teach an orientation if that's something that is passion for you? So going into the workforce, look for an employer that is going to invest in you and a place where you're going to feel like you're living your purpose every day.
Oh, that's such a good point. It's such a cliche to, you got to feel happy at work. But I
Yeah.
think when I look back, I think about, was I more excited to go to work than not?
Mm.
And knowing that's part of what I do and I get from my job, it's very fulfilling in even more ways than monetary
Mhm.
benefits. So,
Yeah.
good points, all good points.
Yeah.
Okay, next question.
Hi, I'm Bernadine Evans, and I'm a professor at Howard University's radiation therapy program. My question is for my students who are graduating in about 2 to 3 years, where do you see the profession in about 3 years when they get out?
Mm.
That's a big question.
It is a big question. Well, we know that we are in the largest shortages that we've had, right? ASRT's been tracking it with science and research since 2003. What I would hope in that we see in the profession in 3 years is that a lot of the efforts that we're doing to increase the pipeline and work on the shortages and even attracting and retaining, we're talking about burnout and
Yeah.
things like that, that a lot of work has been done where we don't have such severe shortages. I would also hope with all the work that is being done with Be Seen and all the work that our members and medical imaging and radiation therapy heroes are doing to raise the visibility of who we are, that the culture might look a little different
Yeah.
where we are seen. And the third thing I would say with the therapists is the other thing that I'm hoping is that we've gotten very far along with the all of the infrastructure that needs to be put in place for the advanced practice, the advanced practice radiation therapist. Of course, we've been working with the APRT working group, and I think that that's going to be an amazing opportunity for advancement with therapy. So those are the first three things off the top of my head.
All right, we have a couple more.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
My name is Dorleen Deukilala. Melissa, tell us about your career path on how you became the CEO of ASRT.
So, my path to CEO, I think what is so amazing about our profession is that if you ask anyone who's been in our profession 30, 35 years, we all have different pathways. A lot of people know I started in x ray school 4 days out of high school. So, I've been a radiographer for 40
A
years
long time.
almost, a long, long, long time. But through that, one of the things that I mentioned earlier was that building relationships and seeing every job that you have, and particularly starting as a student as a job interview, every position that I've had in my career was something that a door opened because of a place that I was. So my first leadership job was just a couple of years out of school, and the weekend supervisor was going to be leaving. And so the manager thought, well, you're pretty good with patients, so you'd be a good supervisor. We're going to, yeah, okay, kind of scary, right? But that was how I kind of
Yeah.
the door opened into
Mhm.
leadership. And then after that, I was working at a site that they had students. And I loved working with the students, and an educator position came open. And one of the clinical instructors came up to me and said, hey, you want to teach? And I'm like, teach? Also scary, probably for the students. But that's how the door opened into education. And then I did go back and get my master's and doctorate in education. And that opened the opportunity to teach at the university. During that time, I volunteered, which is really important. We've already talked about volunteering today, right? And that was a question. So, networking, volunteering, I was very involved with the North Carolina Society and the ASRT and being on the board of the ASRT. So, I took a job in corporate and just happened to see the job, and it was a perfect fit still in imaging. And then I was lucky enough to be hired here. So I kind of went all over in my career, but stayed in imaging the whole time, which is such an again, the thread that you'll hear through the stories of people who've been in this profession for 30 years. And then after Sal hired me to come on as the executive vice president of governance and public policy, he decided to retire. And so the ultimate decision that has to be made for the pathway to the CEO of the organization is, as you know, you have to go through the board. And then the board did a search, and I was blessed to be hired by the board for this position. So a very long pathway, a kind of a winding pathway, but the complete thread through all of it was the passion for this profession.
And I wonder, early on in your career,
Mm.
did you ever aspire to be a CEO? Was that ever on the roadmap for you?
No, it's interesting. One of the other things about me is that in every position that I'm in, it's all about finding my purpose in that position. And that's why I mentioned the doors opening.
Mhm.
Most of the time I was never really looking for that
Yeah.
next position. And I feel like that's another good piece of advice to give the students, right? Because I even think about in healthcare, there are only so many leadership positions, and some people think your only pathway to success is like this, right? So I'm a tech, now I need to become a supervisor, then I need to become a manager, but that's not always the path. And if you are focusing on what you're doing in that current job and how it fits with your purpose and your meaning and doing the best that you can for everyone else every day, I think that these doors
Yeah.
just open. So I guess that's a really long answer, very wordy, but no, no, not really.
Yeah, my dad once told me that success is not something you pick off a shelf. It's
Mm,
something that follows you.
wow.
And so when you talk about open doors,
Mm,
it seems like you were just ready. You got yourself ready, and then it's almost like you fulfilled the calling that you didn't even know was in your path. But
wow.
when you saw it, you
Yeah,
great question.
yeah, that was a good
That was a
question.
surprising question. Yeah. Okay, we got one more.
Okay,
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Hi, my name is Janetta Greer. I am the Radiation Therapy Program Director for Wayne State University in Detroit. My question today is, how do we maintain compassion for the work that we do after being in the field for so long? So how do we maintain that compassionate care that we provide to our cancer patients?
So Ray, I'm going to kick this one to you to start with because I don't think this is unique, right? To our profession. When you've been in a profession or in a job so long, you can get disenfranchised and have stress and burnout. So, what suggestions do you have?
I think of two C's that come to mind.
C's, C,
C's, like
C.
the letter C.
Okay.
The first is commitment,
Mm,
and the second is care.
mm,
And I don't know that you can do one without the other.
mm.
Like, I can't be so committed
Yeah.
in what I do without caring.
Yeah.
And I can't care without being committed.
Mm. So I like what you said about the 2 C's. And I think that part of that requires intention.
Yeah.
And so what I used to think about when I was in clinic, and actually what I used to teach my students as well, is you always have to consider, as a medical imaging or radiation therapy hero, you are making a difference in people's lives. And no matter how stressed out or burnt out you are, that is a person, right? We don't make widgets.
Right.
And you have patients to take care of and their family
Yeah.
members. And no matter how bad your day is, they're dealing with something very significant in their lives. And I think staying focused on that, but also it's a change in mindset. So I know that we can get burnt out, and I have a specific suggestion, and I saw this happen, and there's evidence behind it that it works. Is that if we show up every day and we ask ourselves one question, what is the difference we made today? That it takes that negative reel out of our head where we're thinking, I'm tired, I'm burnt out, I'm overworked, and it replaces it with something positive that we did, grounded in our purpose. And there's actually research behind it where it increased employee satisfaction and engagement and decreased burnout. So I think what I'm saying is do exactly what you said with intention, and then pay attention to the difference that you are making. And I have one more suggestion. And the other suggestion, I heard this comes from Kuzes and Posner in the Leadership Challenge. They talk about approaching every job as if it was your first day. So think back, right? We get burnt out, we're tired, we get bogged down in things. But when we first show up for that job, everything is like clear and exciting and new. So how would you approach that job 25 years in as a radiation therapist if you were starting today 25 years ago? So I guess all my answers are kind of about changing your mindset and positivity.
I love what you just said. It reminds me of a quote, I think it's from Albert Einstein, where he says, there's 2 ways to live. As if, everything is a miracle. You can look through life as it's one big miracle, or that nothing is a miracle.
Mm.
And so I think
Wow.
that stepping back and realizing the work that you do, but also the impartation that you bring to your work, as if it could be your first day, and fresh eyes and
Yes.
excitement. I think that's a good takeaway.
Yeah.
For sure.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all our questions?
Those are all our questions. Those are very good questions. Thank you
They
for
were.
submitting those.
Yes. Thank you to everybody. That was
Yes.
absolutely amazing.
Yes.
We should probably do this. We should do this often, or however often our producer says that we can do this.
Yeah.
I think.
We'll do it.
Okay. I think that was great.
Awesome.
Okay. So now we're going to play a game.
Have you played Heads Up before?
I have.
Okay. I'm going first. Okay. You
Okay.
ready?
Ready?
All right.
All right. Okay. So I'm going to describe it.
Okay.
It is very important for any organization
Oh,
to
air conditioning.
that is true. That is very, very important to keep us safe.
Security.
More specific. It's your
Cybersecurity.
role. Yes.
Okay.
See, that was a
Okay,
gimme.
That was a good
You're
one. That was
welcome.
a good one. Good. Okay.
All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Okay. It's something you eat, kind of a dessert.
Jello.
Yes.
What's your favorite kind of Jello?
I like the green.
Ew.
Ew.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh. Okay. So this one. Okay. Ready?
Ready?
Okay. Yeah. Ready?
Yes.
A stack of rocks placed on the side of the trail by park rangers or trail maintenance teams to mark which direction the trail goes. They should not be made for fun, as it can cause confusion.
I know that they're trail markers. I don't know the official name.
They're little rocks that are
Yes.
stacked.
The
I didn't
moment
know
you
this.
said little rock stacked, I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah. It's cairn. Look at it.
I would never get this.
Well, but you
A
knew
pile
what
of
they
rocks.
were.
I knew what they were. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's still impressive. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Okay. If you do not get this,
Oh, no. I probably
I
won't.
really question if you belong here.
ASRT.
No, not ASRT.
Technologist.
No.
Okay.
I'm not. I don't even
Therapist.
think I should give you clues.
Go ahead.
All I'll say is initiative.
Oh, be seen.
Yes. I knew when I say initiative, you would have got it right away.
ASRT.org/BeSeen. Thank you for that one.
Yes.
All right. Well, that wasn't so bad.
That was a good way
less,
to end it,
It was
too.
actually less painful than your games. So
Yeah,
maybe Kim should always do them.
I know. This is too easy, Kim. We got to
Oh,
make them
no.
harder.
All right. So that was Be Seen, but we have a Be Seen segment,
We do.
right? We call it the We See You segment.
Yes.
And I think we have someone that wrote in.
We do. And it comes from Lisa Ryder.
Mhm.
And she says, after high school, I enlisted in the military. I was given 2 options for schooling, lab tech or x-ray tech. I chose being an x-ray tech and I have never looked back. This was in 1978 and there's not much I have not done. From QA, QC, general, fluoral, mammo, ultrasound, ER, specials, OR, angios prior to there being a cath lab to even morgue. Yes, the
Wow.
deceased need x-rays as well.
Yep.
I have some stories to tell there. Overall, I've enjoyed my career as I've never found it dull nor boring. Good luck to all that follow this career path.
I'm so happy that Lisa wrote in because we didn't do this on purpose, but it's the same thread of what we've been talking about,
It is.
right?
Yeah.
Having your purpose where you are and all of the different things that she was able to do in this career. But as a technologist, not looking for the next great thing, but actually living her purpose where she is. So that is absolutely amazing.
It's a good way to just kind of seal everything we've just talked about.
Yeah.
Although I'm still stuck on the deceased need x-rays.
Oh, yeah. And the morgues.
Is that for like forensics? Or?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, that was a great episode.
It
Really
was.
enjoyed hearing all those questions. They were very thoughtful,
They were.
insightful. So thank you for submitting those. We love hearing from you.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see what new questions you bring to us. So you can submit your questions at asrt.org/rad position or email at radposition@asrt.org.
Yes. And we really want to not only thank you for your questions and for your feedback, but for creating a society where we all have a say
Yes.
in advancing our profession, and really for creating ASRT to be a place where we all belong as professionals. We'll be right back after this short message. Outstanding candidates use the ASRT Job Bank to search for job opportunities. By featuring your job openings on the ASRT Job Bank, you can reach a large audience of radiologic science professionals. We provide beneficial recruiting tools like personalized job postings, preferred placement options, customized talent matching, and branding options. Create a recruitment package tailored to meet your needs at asrt.org/jobs. All right, so now we have a couple of updates. So with the holidays in full swing, ASRT has 2 books that make great holiday gifts. So Shadowmakers, A History of Radiologic Technology. It highlights the challenges, obstacles, and successes ASRT has encountered during its more than 100-year history. The book covers the early pioneers in the profession, the society's formation and growth, legislative and regulatory initiatives, continuing education, technological advances, and much more. This hardcover coffee table style book includes amazing historical photos, captivating stories, and unique facts about the ASRT and the profession. And then we have another book, and it is called Growing a Profession, a Chronicle of ASRT Affiliate Societies. And this is an amazing book that tells the stories of our 54 affiliate societies and the major role that they have played in supporting radiologic technologists at the state and local levels. You can order both books by visiting the ASRT store at asrt.org/store. And maybe most importantly, all proceeds benefit the ASRT Foundation. So be sure to get these today for the medical imaging and radiation therapy heroes in your lives. All right, so we're finishing up
Yes.
our first video podcast.
I know.
So, and thank you everyone for listening and for also viewing now. And don't forget to subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And don't forget to write to
Yes.
RAD Position at asrt.org.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we hope to get more member questions and also your feedback as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And more games
More games.
with no geography.
No geography. We'll see. We'll see.
All right. Well, as we close out, as we like to say, don't put yourself in a bad position.
Stay up to date with the RAD position.
And to all our medical imaging and radiation therapy professionals, be seen
And stay RAD.